tell that I am Ashita and you will tell. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to our Nursing Guru channel. Welcome back to all of you. So today we are going to discuss about the very important subject, that is nursing research and status, which is very useful for the 7th semester students which they are having a exam tomorrow. So let's start our class. So myself Ashita and
myself Tangeshwaran.
So today's session, in this session, we are going to discuss about the important questions in the nursing research and statistics, most expected questions, then the syllabus review of your research and statistics subject.
Yes.
So let's begin with the session now.
Yes, I think you would have known about the pattern of examination. You have attended the first exam, that is nursing, community health nursing. So second subject only. So you will be, don't worry about the examination pattern and especially the 7th column. Okay, so you know how to fill that part 7. So
if you are getting a new booklet, then you have to worry about that filling the part 7.
Yes.
So that is also we explained in the previous videos. You can watch it in that.
Yes. So many of the people would have known about the question patterns. So now we will be telling about the question pattern of research and stat. So which will come research 55 marks and the stat will be 20 marks. So section A will be the research and section B will be the statistics. Okay, so in the section A, first will be the essay questions. Okay, so that is a 15-mark question. Two questions you have to write it. Okay, so 2 questions will be there, you will be writing. The second part will be the short answer question, which will be carrying the 5 marks each questions. That will be also 2. Okay, so 2 into 5, 10 marks. Okay, then very short answers, that is 2-mark questions, you will be getting 3 questions which will be given for 6 marks. Okay, then multiple choice question will be having 9 multiple choice question which will carry 1 marks. Okay, so total 55 marks will be there in the research side itself. Okay, so when you are studying about research in details, more concentration if you are giving, okay, then you can score the pass marks easily. Okay, the second part will be the statistics. Okay, stat will start with, again here there is no 10-mark question at all, only the short answer question, which will be the 5-mark question. You will be having 2 questions of 5 marks, you will be awarded for the 10 marks. Okay, then very short answer, which is 3 marks, 3 question will be 2 mark. Okay, so that 6 will be there, and multiple choice will be 4 multiple choice question, each will carry 1 marks. So that is total you will be having 20 marks. Okay, so togetherly you will be having the 75 marks paper, and don't worry about the booklet, like only one booklet you are going to use, and you are going to write it the both research and stat in the one booklet itself, the answers. Okay, so main things you have to concentrate on the question number. Okay, so question number, write the question number and start answering your questions. Okay, and you, even the semester students know it is easy, which is you know more that you start writing the first paper itself. Okay, so first impression will be the good for the evaluators. Okay, so when we are correcting the first questions, you are well answered, no, so you are easily get the marks previous like the later question answer also. Okay, so now come to the chapter wise, we will be discussing about the important questions. Okay, so you first of all you know about what is research, correct? Research, the name itself is the research. Okay, so searching again and again. Okay, so that is the things. So when we are finding new things, okay, when we are finding the new things, new idea, new phenomena, that will be called as a research. Okay, so research is a difficult concept or issue that exists in a practice or theory and need to solve or understand. Okay, it should be solved or should be understand with a new phenomena. Okay?
What the question is that should be solved, or what the problem is that must be solved, or the question must be answered, or the problem must be solved. That is what we call it as a research.
Okay, so when we talk about research unit, first unit is a research and research process. So definition of research, it's very important. Okay, all must study about the definition of research and definition of nursing research. So what is the difference between research and nursing research definition? The nursing research definition, it's talk about the nursing problem related. Okay, so nursing field related. You are solving the anything. It may be the clinical sector, or it may be in the educational sector. You are
Like
going to give the answers to the unknown things. So that is known as
in the nursing practice,
research.
or in the nursing education, or in the nursing administration. So in these three fields which you are going to implement the research, okay, that you should include in the definition. What it is? It's a nursing administration, or the nursing education, and in the nursing practice.
Yes, the nursing research is a systematic and scientific way of conducting by nurses in to identify the or solve the nursing problems. Okay, so that easily you can write the definition and you can carry out the questions. Okay, so first question will be the definition of nursing research, and second will be the definition of research and definition of nursing research. Okay, and need for nursing research. Okay, so the topic which will be covered in this first chapter, no, need for nursing research or purpose of nursing research. Okay, need for nursing research, purpose of nursing research. Example, purpose, when you are talking about purpose, to explore and gain the knowledge. Okay, to explore and gain the new knowledge. Okay, that should be there. And to describe the characters of situation. Okay, so that we can tell as a purpose, or we can tell that purpose to explain the relationship between the variables. Okay, so there will be always we have to explain in the research about the two variable. Okay, dependent variable or independent variable. Okay, so, and to control and influence the situation, to test and refine the theories, all these things and all we can write it as a purpose of nursing research. Okay, then characters also, it may come for 2 mark questions. So what are the characteristics of nursing research, or the research, or good research? Okay, all these things. Okay, you can take it out. Okay, so
it is like a systematic way, and it's in the scientific way, and it's the whatever the research we are conducting, that must have a objectivity. It should have some goal, or the it should have some aim. Then it's must be a logical. Okay, then whatever the research we are conducting, that should have some value, and that should be in the general level.
Empirical, we can tell the characters like we can list out the systematic, logical, empirical, objective, controlled, replaceable,
then valid. It should have some value. Then generalizable. So these are the characteristics of good research. You can write it down. And one more point, you can add it as a scientific. Next, scope of nursing research.
So that also we may expect these questions for the tomorrow exams. Okay, scope of nursing research can come. Then steps and process of nurse research. Okay, so that will be very important.
Thing. So the process of research.
There are 10 steps are there. First one is identifying and selecting the problem. Okay, so always when we want to start any research, we have to identify the problems or the questions. Topic. Like you may have the questions, when you are reading something, when you are doing something, or when you are observing something, you may cut some question in your mind, correct? So that is the first space in the our first steps in the research. Okay, identifying and selecting the problem. The second one is review of related literature. Okay, review of related literature. So that's it, the second steps. And next, third step will be the formulation of objectives or hypothesis, we can tell. Okay, so formulating the objectives or hypothesis, now what you are going to predict in your thesis or your research work. So that will be the third steps. Okay, and the fourth steps will be the research design. Okay, research designs, whether the research will be carried out in the quantitative way or the qualitative way. Okay, so experimental, non-experimental, true. So many topics is there. We are going to discuss one by one. Okay, so next, fifth step will be the sampling. Okay, so what will be the sampling size, what will be the who will be the sample. Okay, so that and all will cover
what in the method we will be using to collect the sample, that is what we call it as sampling technique. Yes. So you should know who all are the samples, what is the sampling technique, and what is sampling. The process of selecting the samples is known as what? Sampling. The samples are the subjects of our study. Okay, we can call them as a subjects of our study. So in that also you'll be studying a lot of things like a population, in that target population,
Yes.
accessible population. So that is also important.
So sixth
Next,
step
sixth
will be
step.
the data collection. So after selecting your sample unit, then we will be going and collecting the data information, correct? So data collection, and seventh will be the data analysis, and eighth will be the interpretation of data or the findings. Okay, so what you are collected, what you are analyzed, that you are going to check it with the interpretations. And ninth step will be the report writing. Okay, report writing. And 10th will be the utilization of findings. Okay, so this is the 10 steps in the nursing research or any research. Okay, these are steps in the research. Okay, so this is very important. So steps of research, it may ask for the questions. Okay, you can write it down,
This
and you
is
can
very
note down
important.
the
You should
steps
write
also.
this.
Then types of research. Okay, so like types of research, when you're talking, it's like we have different types of research: basic research, applied research, quantitative, qualitative research. Okay, so among these four types, any things they may specify in the 2 marks, and they may ask example, define quantitative research or define basic research, like that. Okay, so all these types also you can focus on the things. Okay, so this is the main things which is covered in the first unit. So when you're talking about a question paper, question pattern, okay, so definition of research and nursing research, and
list the characteristics of good researcher, then
and good research
explain
also,
the research process, or the explain the each steps of research process. Then one more important is evidence-based practice. What is the purpose of evidence-based practice? Then steps of evidence-based practice. Then the barriers of evidence-based
question
practice.
is very, very, very important.
Yes.
It is mostly expected question from the 5 marks section. Okay, so that you can focus more and you can read it out. Okay, so next come to the second unit. So when you're talking about second unit, it's like a research problem and hypothesis. Okay, research problem and hypothesis, or the research question also we can talk. Okay, so what is a research problem? A research problem is a difficult concern or the issue that exist in the practice or theory and need to solve. Okay, need to solve, so it need the answer. Okay, so that is all we will be telling. It is a research question or the research problem. Okay,
so there will be a issue, for that we are finding a solution.
Yes, so when you are finding the solution in the systematic way, it will be called as a research. Okay, so in this the topic of subtopics are there. So the identification of research problem.
How we can identify, the main important thing is sources of
identification. Okay, sources of identification.
How you will be identifying the research problem. For example, from the clinical expertise, we will be asking
from your, based on your experience. Okay, experience only your problem will be started, or your question will be raised. Okay, so by observation,
there are a lot of
by
sources,
experience,
conducting surveys, or from the observation, or from the expertise we will be taking a guidelines, or from your personal experience you can select, or from the journals, or from the other articles, or from the books you will be collecting the research problem, or you are just finding out the research statement or the what issue you have to solve. Okay, so again in this unit, research statement, that is problem statement. It is one of the important topic. Okay, which will be like focused more. A problem statement is a clear and concise and specific statement that describe about a problem to investigate. So in the problem statement itself, all these things will be included. Okay, so whom you are going to conduct the study, and what is the study you are going to, what are the variables of your study, what is the variable, and what is the designs, everything will be included in the statement. So that's why it is a specifically mentioned that it's a specific statement. Okay, so that will describe about the investigation of your problem. Okay, so that is the thing.
So the next topic will be the delimitation of problems. Okay, so that topic also will be under the research second unit. Okay, so next one is the research objectives. Okay, so research objectives also one of the important questions.
So in
what
the
are the
objectives, you are just framing out like what is my aim,
Yes.
why I am conducting the research, what is my objective to conduct those research, that you will be specifying the objectives. So that also important topics, then you should study. Then how to write the objectives, that is also important. Then what are the criteria for the good research problem? So it must be feasible, it must be a specific or specified, clear, concise. So there will be a specific criteria to select your research statement or the problem. That is also important question. Then
hypothesis. Okay, so definition of hypothesis also most expected questions. So hypothesis and types of hypothesis are there. So that is we can expect more in the tomorrow question paper. Okay, so types of hypothesis, all these things you can read it out and we can focus on the things. Hypothesis means a simple understanding what the researchers are going to predict. Okay, so that is known as hypothesis. Okay, so
like hypothesis, they'll be keeping
all
an
these things
assumption.
are there. Okay,
either it may be we can achieve that or not. It's just a prediction we are doing, we are just making an hypothesis or we are just creating an assumption.
Yes.
How the research will be going. Next.
So next unit will be third
Review
unit.
of literature.
Review of literature.
See, you have to keep it in your mind. What are the process or the steps of research you studied? The 10 steps only your research units. Okay. So the first thing will be your research problem. Second one will be your review of literature. Next will be your identification of or the formulation of hypothesis. Next sampling, data collection. So same thing. It's
will be
as units, subunits you are studying.
So that's what in the beginning only we told, it's like a systematic way. When you are carrying anything, it's systematic way in the step wise, that will be called as a research. Okay. So when you're talking about review of literature, no? So it is a systematic analysis or systematic way of organizing the things. Already the research is done. We are going to review in that things, how they are carry out their research and how it will be helpful in our current research work. Okay, so that is will be useful for reviewing the literature. So here the questions, very important question is, for example, is it no? No, just an example. Yeah. Like for example, you are conducting a research on HIV. Okay, like how this review of literature works in the sense you are conducting research on HIV means already some of the researcher will be conducted some studies about the HIV. So from their studies you are collecting the review of literature. You are collecting the information which is related to your studies. For example, so like sir is already conducted a carry out the research work, no? So how they carry out the research work, that will be helpful in your current research work. Okay. Next. So in this, the sources of review of literature, how you will get the review of literature in the sense like by using the books, by using the journals or by using the articles. In the libraries you will get all those, or we have the channels for this. You may heard of this like a PubMed, a Google Scholar. The sources of this, it is very important. Then one more thing, the abbreviation of this, it is this and all for compulsory we can tell any one abbreviation can come in the multiple or in the 2 marks question they will be asking this SINHAL. This is one of the most used source to get the review of literature. Online source it is. Yes. So when you're talking about again the research, source of literature, primary source is there, secondary source is there. Okay, so that also it is one of the important questions. Okay, source of review of literature, when you're asking, no, you have to mention 2 types of source, that is primary and secondary source. Okay, so that you can write it down. So which are directly where the researchers are getting from the things, no, that and all will be carried out the primary source. Okay, so like original and it will be a first hand materials. Okay, so like, that and all will be taking the journals or the dissertation books or the thesis. Yes. So going and searching in library, no, so all these things will become under this primary. Then secondary, when you're talking about secondary, no, so like indexing, so the, like example ma'am have written no channel. Okay, so this is the one of the things, and PubMed. Okay, so that all these things will be there as a secondary source. Okay. Steps of review of literature also is there, the same thing. Okay, so first, like identifying the research topics or objectives, and search for the relevant literatures, that is the second steps, and select the relevant and reliable studies. Okay, so when you're, ma'am is talking about HIV. Okay, so when you're going to do and research on HIV, you have to search the review related to the HIV only. It may be any kind of studies, but the main things is HIV is the important. So when you are going and searching in another topic, your literature review will be in the wrong. Okay, so that is the third steps. Okay, then fourth steps will be the critical analyze and evaluate the literature. So whatever you are reading, no, you cannot write it on the things. What is important,
whatever you are getting, you should not do copy and paste. So you should study that critically. You should analyze what you want for your study.
Then you can make the note and you can write it as a review. Okay, then fifth step will be the organize and synthesize the information. Okay, then
you will be getting a lot of informations or page of like many number of pages you will get. So in that, how much you want, you should concise it, and you should organize it in a proper way how you want it.
The last step will be the, after organizing, write the review in the structured form. Okay, so that is the steps in the review of literature.
Important question it is, you should keep it in your mind.
So what are the important question we told? The sources, okay, definition you can study, and purpose you can study, as well as the abbreviations are there. Okay, so channel,
online sources, abbreviations you should study. Then steps are very important. Steps of review of literature. Next.
So the next unit will be the research design or research approach. Okay, so that is the fourth unit, and very important unit. You can expect the 15-mark question from this unit. Okay, so this unit is very important. So in the research, all these topics, no, so mostly the research designs and sampling unit will carry the 15-mark questions. Okay, so what is the research designs or the research approach? A research design is the overall plan for the researcher, that how to carry out the throughout the research work. Okay, so that is the thing. It is like a blueprint for the researcher. Okay, so mainly we have the two kind of research, that is quantitative and qualitative research.
So in that, again, in the qualitative and quantitative research, we have a subtypes. Okay, you should specify that what is qualitative research and what is quantitative research.
Okay, so when you're talking about quantitative research designs, it's talk about the numbers. Okay,
so here in the quantitative research, you will be dealing with the numericals.
And statistical analysis will be
present. Data.
Okay, numerical data and statistical analysis. So it may be the objectives and structured form of research will be carried out and used to test the theories and identify the relationships. Okay, so between two relationship, example, height and weight of the particular age groups. Okay, so all these studies and all will carry by the quantitative research. Okay, so when you're talking about qualitative, it is the exploring. Okay,
experience or their behavior, characteristics. So we will be dealing
like opinion, behaviors. Okay, all these things will be things. So it is a non-numerical data. Okay, so when you're talking about that non-numerical data,
like for example, behavior, attitude, or the knowledge. So like this.
All these things. So provide in-depth of understanding of the phenomena. So what is the the theory, the studies will go in depth wise. Okay, so that is known as qualitative things. Like, because when you want to study about the characters of somebody, we have to understand more about the person. Correct? So that is that kind of things. So that is a qualitative theories. So here examples like interviews, focus groups, okay, observation, document analysis, all these things will come under the qualitative way. Okay, the next we are talking about the experimental and non-experimental research designs. Okay, experimental and non-experimental research designs.
So you can write it in the like a flow chart way. Okay, so in many of the textbooks you will get it in the flow chart, or they will be explained it point wise. So that like that also you can write, no issues with that.
So when you're talking about experimental research design, the name itself is correct. We are going to experiment. We are going to do on the people. Okay, so that is the experimental
So
research
here
design.
the researcher will be having a high control over the variables.
Yes.
Either it is an independent variable or the dependent variable. About like they'll be having a control over their variables or the samples.
Okay, it's involved manipulation of independent variable. Okay, so the like what the research is going to give the treatment, no, there we can get the manipulations. Okay, so that will be there. That is the main thing you can see, and used to establish the causes and the effect of relationship. Okay, so high control over the variable. So here you can see the characters manipulation is there, control is there, and effect will the relationship between the relationship will be present. Okay, so example of experimental, true experimental, and quasi experimental. Okay,
this is also
so
important.
you can study in detail. You can study about the experimental. In the experimental research designs, true experimental research design is very important questions. Okay, so that like the question may come like define on a research designs or research approach and explain in detail about the true experimental research designs or explain about the quasi experimental research designs. Like that the question will come. So it is the most expected questions from the unit. Okay, so that is a research approach or the research designs. So next one is non-experimental research designs. So what is non-experimental? It is just the opposite of the experimental. So where there will be no manipulation, there will be no control. And there will be no randomization. Okay, so all these three characters which will be present in the experiment and it will not be present in the non-experimental research designs. Okay, so example of this here, descriptive studies. Okay, so like what the researcher observed in his study, that without changing anything he is going to give the statement. So that is known as non-experimental research designs.
It's just opposite to our experimental.
Okay, otherwise we can talk about the correlation studies. Okay, so these two things
correlating
as an example
between the
two variables or two things. Okay, so that is the things will be there here. Okay, so used when the experimental control is not possible. So when the researchers are not able to make the control over the sample or the unit. Okay, so that time we can change the research study from the experimental to the non-experimental research designs. So main characters of experimental research design is control, randomization, and manipulation. Okay, so which will not be present in the non-experimental. So that differentiate, if you know, you can write it down the questions. Okay, so that is very important. The answer booklet, these three things will be expected in the your answer. Okay, so that is randomization, manipulation, control. So don't forget this three sentence for the unit 4, that is a research approach or the research designs. Okay, then other types of research design is there.
Survey designs we will be having, or the case study
methods. Okay, so where we are going to focus on only one patient and we are going to do the study, no, that will be called as a case study designs.
Like medical case studies we will be studying, or the organizational case studies we will be conducting. Then in the survey designs, like opinion polls or the attitude surveys we will be conducting.
So like example, giving the feedback forms. Okay, so all these things. Okay, so that and all will come under the survey research designs. Okay,
so still there is a lot of types or subtypes of research approach or the designs, so which you have to focus on this, but the main focus you should give towards
most important
this
the experiment
qualitative,
and
quantitative in that experimental and non-experimental.
The next unit will be the sampling and again this is again one more important unit. The two question will be there. One question from the research design we can tell, one question from the sampling techniques or data collection. Okay, so the 15 marks we are talking about. Okay, so this two chapter will be carrying the 15 mark questions. Okay, so what is sampling and data collections? Okay, sampling means it is the process of selecting the subject
or the subject
samples is from the population, okay, to represent the whole. Okay, so we cannot do the study on entire example. When we want to conduct the studies in the Bangalore, when you cannot cover all the people those who are living in the Bangalore, correct? So you are
Yes.
going to select a particular area. Okay, so like example, rural, urban. Okay, so like that also. Otherwise, the study is carrying out in the students, no?
Yes.
So again, we cannot
Particular
focus on the
batch
students
we'll be
focus.
selecting.
Okay, so like example, when the studies carry out the like to analyze the analyze the importance of anemia patients, okay, like hemoglobin level among in the nursing students first year. So we are going to focus on the first year like that. Okay, so from total
overall
population,
so,
we are
we'll
going
be
to
selecting a small
okay,
amount.
small unit, that is known as sample. Okay,
Sample.
so that is a sample. A sample is a small group of units selected from the population. Okay, sample is the small group of units that is selected from the population to participate in the study, that is known as sample. And what is sampling technique? So that is very, very important. Technique of sampling. Sampling techniques are the methods used to select the sample from the populations. Okay, so like many people are there. You can see here like number of people 1 2 3 4 like this is there. Okay, so from this population we are going to select only the few things. So that is the selection process is known as sampling techniques. Okay,
see,
so
we
that
will
is
be having 60 BSc students, first year
yes.
students. So that is our target. Okay, that is what we call it as target population is what? Our first year BSc students. So in that, for my study, I don't want that 60 students. So I'll be using a kind of technique, like for example, a lottery method or the randomization method. So I'll be using a kind of technique, sampling technique, and I'll be selecting only the accessible population. I'll be picking up my samples.
Okay, so that process is known as sampling technique. Okay, so next topic like probability sampling technique, non-probability sampling technique is there. Okay, so when you're talking about probability sampling technique, it's like it's cover on the equal chance to given to the everyone. So like example, in the class 60 are there, means 60 people also may involve in the studies. Okay, so
everybody is having an equal chance to involve in my studies. I am giving a chance to them, they can involve in my study. That is what the probability
sampling. Okay, so when we are talking about probability sampling, there are three types of probability sampling is there. Simple random sampling. Okay, so every individual has an equal chance to select. Okay, so that is known as simple random sampling. Then stratified sampling. So when you're talking about stratified sampling, it is like population is divided into homogeneous subgroups. Okay, so that is known as stratified sampling technique.
It's nothing but we are making a divisions in that particular students. Okay, in the 60 only again we are making a subdivision.
So like example, in the 60 students, like each state wise we can tell. Okay, so the 60 students also not be like same state, no?
Or
so
they'll be
from
not
Kerala,
having
some from Tamil Nadu, some from West Bengal, all these things. Okay, so when you're making dividing subgroup and selecting from each subgroup, no, so that is known as stratified sampling technique. Okay, the next one is systematic sampling. Okay, systematic sampling. So when you are talking about systematic sampling, we are making the students to stand in line. Okay, and every second person, okay, or every fourth person, so that is known as systematic sampling. Okay,
just we are taking a nth element, or we can call it as k element. Okay, just we are picking up a element, like for example we will be telling them to like say 1 2 3 they'll be standing. Just my thing is 1 to 4 will be as count. In that I'll be selecting only one who is in the second number. It's just like systematically I am selecting the samples.
So this is the three sampling technique of probability sampling technique. Okay, so focus more about this probabilistic sampling and non-probabilistic sampling. It may come for the questions. Okay, so tomorrow we can expect these questions. Okay, then when you're talking about non-probabilistic sampling, it's not every individual has an equal chance to be participate or to select in the research work. So that is known as non-probabilistic sampling. So it have the different subtopics, types. Purposive sampling. Okay, so purposive sampling. So when meaning is there, correct? Purposive sampling. So when you want to conduct the studies related to the woman, okay, so like
judgment.
all this
Like
class
based on your
we can
statement.
statement, okay, so example breast cancer among the adolescents, so we can
Adolescent
select
girls.
only the adolescent girls,
Girls.
and who are in the particular area, okay, so like that. So some
It should have
purposive
some
things should
purpose.
be there, okay. So subjects are selected based on the researcher
Researcher
judgment, okay, so that is the purposive sampling technique, okay, to involve in the study. The second one is convenient sampling, okay, convenience sampling. So what about what is this convenient sampling means? Subject who are easily available.
It's
Okay,
based on the researcher convenient, who will be easily available. For example, the researcher is conducting study in the community area. So in that community area, easily who all are available as
we
a
can
sample.
involve in the research. Okay, so that is based on the researcher
By this names only
convenient.
easily you can
Yeah.
understand. Purposive means it should have some purpose when you're selecting sample.
Yes.
Convenient means how, like based on your convenience, how you'll get the easily available samples.
Yes. The third one will be the quota sampling. So name itself is their quota, correct? You would have known these things very nicely because some people would have got admission through quota only, correct? So some specifically selected and categorized the people involving in the process. Okay, so the population is divided into subgroups and focus are fixed, okay, quota to set for each subgroup. Okay, so as I told, 4 state is there, so we want in the 4 state also 4 members, so that it's known as quota.
Only 4 members we want means
4 members,
like
okay,
that.
like
Only
that.
the sample researcher wants 60 samples means just 60 samples they will be selecting.
Yes. So understood the things. So when you're talking about sampling technique, okay, so that is
very important.
Sampling, definition of sampling, okay. What is
the
sampling techniques and probability and non-probability sampling techniques, okay. So focus more in these units.
This is very important unit. You have to focus about this probability and non-probability types also.
Yes.
Next, come to the data collection. So in the data collection, this is also we can expect either they will be asking a probability or non-probability or the methods of data collection. So you have selected the samples. Now it is your work to collect the data
information from the people. Okay, so that is data we are going to collect from the selected people, no? So that is data collection methods. So data and data analysis, all these questions and all will be exported, okay. In the data collection, mainly we will using 3 methods, okay, that is very important. So what are those 3 methods in the sense? Questioning, interview and observation. Why there will be 3, okay, for the based on the group of sample we will be using the collection method. For example, observation method only we can use it for the mentally retarded, like psychiatric patients we can use the observation method. We cannot go and ask with the like ask a question with the mentally like ill patients itself. We cannot ask them because there will be a instability in their mindset. So that is for them. Based on the sampling, we have to choose the data collection methods. For students, like you are conducting study on the students, then you can use the interview method or either questioning method. So that is very important. Purpose of questioning method or the purpose of interview or the purpose of observation. What are the importance of this when we will be using when we want to collect the information or the data, okay. So that is very important. This you have to study. So first like when you are talking about data collection method, observation method, questionnaire method, interview and checklist, rating scales, okay. So all these things focus and study the definition, involvement, okay. So how the questionnaire, whether it may be an open-ended question or the closed questions, okay, all these things you have to focus and you have to make the notes, short notes and explain in the papers, okay. So that is very important. So next we are talking about the tools of data collections, okay. So what is the tools we are going to use in the data collections, okay. So that is very important in the chapter. So when you are talking about tools
or the methods, these will
all
be
these subtopics you cover it, and study about like what is the advantage and
advantages of
disadvantage of each method also.
each
That is
method,
also okay.
advantage
So
and
when you are
disadvantages
focusing,
you should
so the
study.
question may come like that only: define data collection method and explain about the questionnaire method with the advantages, okay, or the disadvantage. You can write it in details about the data collection and questionnaire method, and last point, last things, you have to write the advantage and disadvantage of methods of data collections. Okay, so that is the important things. The next one is what is the sixth unit? Analysis in
of
the data. Data analysis or interpretations. Okay, so data processing we can tell. Say data processing is the conversion of new data into the usable or the meaningful form. Okay, so whatever you collected the information,
that is
you are
a raw
going to
data.
use.
Okay, so that raw data will be your giving a meaningful way to this. Okay, whatever the is like through the observation method you have collected some data from the patients or from your sample, so that you are converting into your meaningful or the useful way for your research.
Then tabulation is again very important questions. Okay, so that may come for 5 marks. If it is not 5 marks, 2 marks. Define tabulations. Okay, so that is very things.
The systematic arrangement of your data. Okay, for example, you have conducted a study, you have given them like kind of self
questionnaire or whatever things,
method,
whatever you got the answers, you are going to put it in the form of data in the columns. Okay, so that is known
like
as
here
tabulation.
the patient or the sample 1, 2, you will be giving name. So what is their response?
Response like
you have to write it in the tables, systematic arrangement of your data,
into the columns, okay, so
or
that
in
is
the
known
rows.
As,
that
that
you
is known
have
as
to mention.
tabulations and explain in detail. Okay, so characters or what are the things is there in the books, topics, all these things you have to focus.
Yes, arrangement of data in the column and rows.
Yes. So tables, what is tables? Tables are present the data in the row and column for the easy comparisons. So example, we are mentioning group, A, B, C, like that you can write, and the frequency will be 25, 50, like 75, 100, like that you can mention, and the percentage. Okay, so what is the percentage? All these things, like putting the information what you collected in the data. Okay, what you collected in the data processing, that you are putting into the table form. It is known as tabulations. Okay, so that is the things. So that will be the important thing. Instead of writing in the paragraph wise, you have to read that whole paragraph. So if it's like in the table, easily you can understand what is the okay, so like example A, if you are talking about group A, so what is the percentage, everything will come to know in clear way. Okay, you will not have the confusions. Okay, so that is the thing. And data analysis, so again it is one of the important topic. Definition of data analysis may come. Okay, so data analysis is the process of examining the data in the detail. Okay, to cover the patterns and trends and relationship between the each group. Okay, so that is the data analysis. It helps in drawing the conclusion and making the decision. So when you come to know group A is having 40%, but group B having the 100% or 70%, clearly will understand, correct? So we'll come to one conclusions. So and it can be done using the statistical or non-statistical method also. Okay, so data analysis can be done in the two method. Statistical way means by using the number, non-statistical means by using the sentence. Okay, so all these things will be thing. Then interpretation of findings. Okay, so when you are talking about interpretation of findings, so interpretation is giving meaning to the analyzed data. At last, this is what after analyzing means, we comes to know that it's a group A is getting a less percentage. We have this. Now we are interpreting, we are making a comparison, we are giving a complete figure of our study. Okay, it giving a meaning to our study. Then
it explain the findings in the relation to the objectives of the study. This is what very important. So here in the interpretation part, what we are going to
what
make
is your aim in the study? No,
we
that
already
will come
made
in the interpretations.
objectives. We already prepared our aims for the research study that we are comparing with our
data
analysis.
Okay, so like example hypothesis you have drawn,
Yes.
or the objectives you have written out. Okay, so that can everything can
Achieved
be
or
interpreted in this your final stage, before final stage. Okay, so that is known as interpretation of finding the data.
Okay, so here the very important thing is when you are collected a data, the graphical representation graphical representation of data. For example, using the charts or using the graphs, how we will be presenting your data. That is very useful, means that is very attractive for the one who is using your studies. For example, you are using the graphs and you are telling this A group x-axis and the y-axis will be there. A group it is got 45%, then B group it is got 75. Just in the chart or in the graph you are telling your data analysis. Okay, so that is what the graphical representation of your data. It is very important. What are the types of graphical representation? Like for example, usage of charts or the graphs or the bar chart, pie chart. So this and all you have to study. Then advantages of those charts, it is very important.
Pie charts, that
Types
is very
of charts.
important for the 2 marks. Okay, so when you're talking about chart, the chart will be like this example. So what is the percentage? Okay, so
How
here
you will be
20%, here will be the 50%,
Pie
here
chart.
will be 30%. Okay, so here will be 25, like that. So putting the information in like this. Okay, so that is known as charts. Okay, charts
This
are
is a bar
represent the
chart.
data in the pictorial form. Okay,
Yes,
so that is known as
pictorial
chart
form.
And this is the graph. And table I told no, so table will be like this. So we are going to make it the percentage and the value, and here the group will be there. So we are making the 3 things. Okay, so the 3 things you focus more, because it may you can helpful for writing the things. Okay, so
then
that
in
is
this unit one more important topic is pilot
study. Yeah, pilot study is
Okay.
a very important. Okay, so the pilot study before the main study we are going to conduct in the
a
small group
study
of
which
small
is
units,
conducted
okay,
before the
main studies.
study.
Okay,
That is
so
also
that is very important question. 5 marks it may come. Okay,
next is stats.
Stats.
Analysis of data is over. Next is introduction to statistics. So in this, the statistics definition, definitely they'll ask define statistics. At least 2 or 3 definitions you should write down. So it is a dealing with what? Statistics in the sense, it dealing with the numerical data. Collection, analysis, interpretation, and of this numerical data, it's known as what? Statistics. Collecting, organizing,
analyzing and presenting the data. Okay, so after presenting, collecting, organizing, analyzing and presenting and interpreting the data to draw a valued conclusions. That is very important. Okay, so that is known as statistics in the research. Okay, first you are going to collect, then you are going to organize whatever data you collected. No, that you are going to put it in the order, then analyzing the things and what is that? Presenting. Like presenting means putting the table. Okay, tabulation.
In the graphical presentation.
Then you are going to interpret the things. Okay,
result
so which
you are
group
giving.
were the things. Okay, so then finally you are going to give the valued conclusion, because already your informations are collected and interpreted. Okay, so that is known as statistics in the research. Okay, so importance of statistics, again the question may come, because it's only 20 marks. So definitely there will be a one problems will be there. Okay, so one problem will be there, like finding the mean, medium or standard deviations. All these things will be there. Okay, so that you can focus. Will explain you now. Okay,
Then applications of nursing
Nursing
research,
research.
statistics in the nursing research. Okay, application of statistics in the nursing research field, that
So
you
what is
have
like
to
a descriptive studies, what is comparative studies, what
in
is
that how it
correlation studies,
stats works.
yeah, what is predictive
Research.
evaluation programs, all these things will be come under the things. Okay, so when you're talking about statistics, first one is mean, medium and
Mean, mode, medium.
medium. So that is very important.
First we will start with the mean.
We will be calling like measures of central tendency, correct?
Yeah,
so
they
all
will
these
not
things,
ask direct. Sometimes they will
sometimes
not ask, you explain mean, mode, median. Not okay. Sometimes they even ask like explain about the central tendency. So in
tendencies.
that central tendency only the
Mean,
mean, mode,
mode
median will be included.
included.
You have to keep it in your mind. This
Okay. So like what is measures of central tendency means are a single value that represent or describe the
entire
center or a topical value of the things. Okay, so the set of data will be given. In the set of data, one value will be going to represent the whole data. Okay, so that is known as central tendency. Okay, so first thing under that, it's known as mean. Okay, so what is mean? It's the average of the data. Okay, mean is the average of the data. If anything, if the like the question may come, okay, like so they will give some kind of data with the height and weight or the age and other things. Okay, so but you have to write it with a sentence, then you can go for the formula, then you can give the solution to the problems. Okay, so what is mean means? A mean is the average of the data. Okay, it is obtained by adding all the value and dividing by the number of value is known as mean. So example,
we will tell you how to get
example
this mean.
then
See, when you get this 5 marks question, obviously
Yes,
the problem will be for your 5 marks
marks.
question. So when they gave the question, don't write only that answer, because hardly half page only you can cover.
Yes.
But the thing is, you have to cover around
Minimum
3 pages.
3 pages for the
So,
5 marks, correct?
yes, you should start with the central tendency, what it is. Then you have to list down the what are the central tendencies, mean, median and mode. Then you can give a mean definition, then what is mean,
Formula.
importance of this, then formula you list down. Later you can come to the problem.
So example of mean,
it is the average
so
of
find the following data for the
just an example.
yes,
we will
example will give find the following data for the mean. Okay, so 2 4 6 8 10 2 4 6 8 10. So
see, this is your raw data.
Yeah, this is what they will give. Some data will be given, and here we are going to find the mean
solution.
Okay, so mean. So first things what you will write, mean formula you will be writing. So before that you can write what is mean. Okay, it is the average of data, that and all will be there. You can write it is obtained by the adding all the data and getting the value, divided by the number of values. Okay, so that is the things. So mean formula, x bar equal to sum of the all value by number of value n, capital N. Okay, sorry.
See here, the x bar, it stands for mean. Okay, then you should know what are those. X, sum of x in the sense the total count or total sum of this collected data. Okay, total collected data, total count of this collected data. Next, n stands for
number of values.
How
many values there? Like 1, 2, 3,
number
4,
of
5.
values.
Here 5 values there, so that number will be the 5. Okay, number of value will be the 5, and totaling all this data is known as what is that? Sum of all the values. Okay, so when you are calculating all these things now, it's coming 30. 6 into 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 10.
Yes.
Yeah, you can put plus plus.
You have to write like this: 2 plus 4 plus, because you are giving a solution in the stepwise.
Stepwise you have to make it. Don't write it directly to the answers.
Yes.
Put these things.
2 plus 4 plus. I'll show you how to write it.
Write the formula.
First you have to write down the formula, then 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus
10.
10. Then
Okay. Equal to how much is coming? 30.
that you should write.
Right.
Again, come to this part. Okay.
So
Next,
when you're coming
30,
counting,
it
it's
is your sum of
sum
x.
of the value.
Then what is the n value in the sense? That is
Counting.
number of values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are getting 10, it is 10. If you are getting 12, it is 12. Okay.
How many data is given? No, that you have to
Then
write it.
5 divided by
6.
30. Okay, that is the answer is
6.
6. So the mean of this problem is what?
6.
6. It's your mean, or you can write it as x bar is equal to 6. This is how you have to present your
solution.
answer.
Okay, so that is the simple technique of mean.
Next, come to median. So mean in the sense average. Okay, you are calculating the given data. You had to add. That is what? Addition. You just keep it in your mind. Mean, it's nothing but
adding
what?
all
Addition.
the values and dividing by the number of
values.
Okay, adding all the value and dividing by the number of value is known as mean.
Median means mid number. Okay,
Yes.
the mid number you have to
take it. Okay, so median is the middle value when
midpoint
the data are arranged in the either ascending or the descending order. Okay, so the data will be given in here and there in the form of ascending, you have to write it, or in the form of descending, you can write it, and the middle number you will be taking out. Okay, so that is known as median.
Yes, we will give an example. Now take down.
Find the median of the following data: 3, 7, 8, 12 and 15. Okay, so this is the following data.
Just we have arranged it in a order, but wise. Even they can give like, just to take a problem. This is what randomly it is arranged. Okay, now this is what your problem. Now you can arrange this in the ascending order or in the descending order. So now what you have to do? You have to
1. Okay, step after giving the draw the data. Step 1 will be the arranging the data in ascending order.
This is what your problem. Now we will be arranging it. 3, 7, 8, 12, 15. We have arranged it. Okay, next.
So what is the mid value? Second step is you are going to find the mid value. Example, you see here 2 is there and here 2 is there. So the mid value will be the 8. No problem. The mid value will be the 8. So that is known as median. So sometimes you can see extra things will be there, correct? Extra data will be there. Then you can calculate the things, and here you are going to take the average. Okay, so that is will be the median. Okay, so this is the simple form of median, where will you have the data, where you have the data and you are going to take the midpoint of the value of the data. Okay, so that is known as median. The next third one is mode. So mode is, what is mode means? Mode is the value that appear most frequently in the data.
Repeated value. Okay.
So which number is coming frequently, no, or repeatedly, that will be called as a mode. A data set may have one mode or more than one mode or no mode also. Okay, so that is the thing. Example, find the mode in following data: 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6, 8. Okay, so this is the following data they given. You have to find the
you have to
find that mode. Okay, so what you will be doing? You will be making the
frequently repeated number. You have to pick up. Okay, so
you can make it even easy way. You can make it the columns. Okay,
like this. You can make. This is what your
value. Okay, value which is given. And here there will be the frequency. You can write it. You can write it in the number of. So okay. So you can write it here frequency. You can write it here value. Okay. So write it in the sentence form only. If you having difficult, you can make it the sentence form. And example, what are the value they given here? Like 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay. So this is the mostly value they given here. Okay. So 2 it came frequency. 2 only once it is appeared, so you will be writing 1. 4 it's come to 2 times, so you will be writing frequency 2. And 6 it's come 3 times, you will be writing 3. And 8 also it come 1. So what is mode we told? repeatedly it's coming or more frequently it appeared in the form of number, no? So that is known as mode. So here the 6 will be the mode, okay, because 6 come in the 3 times, it's repeated in the 3 times, correct? So the
You can
mode will
write
be
like
the
this.
6, because you can write the 6 is the most frequently
repeated
repeated value.
This is the easiest way, okay?
Okay, so this is the simple way, but when the question paper come, it may not come in the simple, it may come with additionally 10 value, 12 values, 12 value data will be there. See, read
You
it
can
and focus and read the
this.
questions what they asked, accordingly give the solution to the questions. But before going to the directly, like example, when you come to know, some students are there, okay, master in these things, so they will come to know in the question paper itself 6 only the things, directly they will write 6.
No.
So you may not get the full marks in the particular answers.
You have to
it should be represent your
the
answer
solution
paper.
must be in the stepwise. You have to explain, okay? Don't write the answer. I know this is the mid value, this 8 is in the middle. Don't do like that. Even the evaluators know, but the thing is you should
Show the
explain it
steps.
in the stepwise. So you can use this kind of tabulations, and you have to arrange the given data. And that is very important.
Okay, so this is the central frequency or central tendency. So the first topic which we covered, that is mean, what is that? Mean, median, mode. Okay. The second topic in the statistics is correlations. Okay, so what is correlations? Means a method used to measure the degree and direction of relationship between the two variables.
We'll be having independent and dependent variable. So for that, what are the degree and directions of the variables we will be finding using the correlations. So there will be a certain types of correlations. So that is a positive correlation, negative correlation, and zero correlation. So in that also you have to study what is positive, what is negative, what is zero. Okay, that is also important. So positive in the sense both variables moves in a same directions or in the same way. If the independent variable increases, the dependent also will be increases. Okay, it is equally or the proportional. So
next we're talking about negative correlations, variable move on opposite directions. Side. Okay, so one will go up, one will go down like that. Okay, so when you're talking about zero correlations, there will be no direction here and there. Okay, so that is the value. Okay, so that will be there, and on the base of numbers of variables, which have the simple correlations and the multiple correlations. So we are talking about like as I told, simple, no, height and weight between one.
Only two variables you are using. For example, that is height and weight. Only two variables you are using. That is a simple.
So when it comes to multiple means like example hours, study hours, diet, exercise and weight, again height. Okay, all these things will
multiple variables will be used in the study. Next, what are the uses or the importance of correlation? That also you have to study in this. Coefficient of correlation, it's a very important topic. You have to keep it in your mind. Then next is application of statistical package in the nursing. Like it is in the Excel form, what applications it has, in the software form. Okay, statistical package usage in the nursing field in the statistical form, that is very important. You have to study those. Next, last unit is
communication and utilization of
research. Now your research is completely finished. Now the part is the people should know that you conducted a research. That is what we call it as communication and utilization of research. Simply you conducted a research and if you are keeping with you, there is no use. Because you conducted, it has a some good cause. That's why you conducted. So now your part being a researcher, you should communicate your research to the people or to
like
the
oral
public.
Presentation, written report, seminar,
making a thesis,
conference, attending conference and presenting your paper presentation, or putting your paper and the articles form or publications in the workshop. all these things, okay, nowadays it's come in digital media.
Yes.
All these things will be called as a communication of research findings. Okay, so in that particular unit you can study about the report writing. Okay, so
Writing
how
a
to write the
abstract.
report. Okay, so that is very, very important. Okay, so that we'll focus more, like when you are writing report, no, the compound should have title page and certificate if it is applicable. Okay, acknowledgement should be needed, table of content and list of tables, figures, okay,
abstract or the summary.
And the main things, when minor chapters, now you have to include introduction, review of literature, methodology, result, discussion, conclusion and recommendations, and reference and bibliography and annexures. Okay, so all these things will be included when you are writing the research report. Okay, so that is very, very important question. The question may come like writing the
Explain about the
report writing. Okay, so like
writing.
that it will be asked. Okay, so all these things you can write it. Okay.
Next,
and quality of good report, it should be clear, accurate, complete, concise, well organized, and it should have the objectives.
Yes.
Okay, so all these things you should things. Then the evidence-based practice we told in the first unit itself. Okay, most expected question we can talk. Okay, so all these topics are the things we have to focus. So mainly we'll be telling here some important question. Okay,
take down.
so like
it is
first
very
you
important.
can take
Now
it down.
We finished our syllabus review. Take down the important questions which we are expecting for your tomorrow's examinations.
So example like describe the methods, data collection and research instruments. Okay, so that is one of the long essay we can expect, or explain the research process with a diagram. Okay, and discuss about the sampling technique. I told you, define sampling and explain the sampling technique in details. Okay, all types of sampling technique you can write it. Okay,
then discuss measures of central tendency, which includes mean, median and mode. Then explain the correlation and coefficient of correlation. Then describe the communication and utilization of research, what we explained now. That is very important.
So very important for short questions. You can write fast. Characteristics of good researcher, research problem,
hypothesis, objectives of research, literature review or the review of literature, both it is same. Then sources of review of literature, then pilot study, research ethics, sampling and data collection, then population and sample. Next, in the statistics, frequency distribution is important, standard deviation, mean, mode, median. They can also ask for the 5 marks question. Then writing a verbal report, explaining the this research in the verbal way and writing the research report, criteria to write the research report. These are the very important questions and the graphical representation of data.
Yes. So like define population and sample, that also important. Methods of data collection, explain the factor influencing the sampling. Okay, so that is the things. Hypothesis,
definition of variables, then variability and the reliability is also very, very important topic. Keep it in your mind. For 5 marks statistics they will ask. Okay.
Yes. So like writing a research article or paper, that is also expected question we can tell. Okay, and barriers of utilizing the research, very, very, very important from the 8th unit. Okay, so that is the thing. And that's all these things we have included. We have explained to you in the subject, like unit wise also. When we discussed, we told about the important questions. So take down and write it and read it. And to no panic. Okay,
don't get panic.
Anyway, this is the second exam for you, 7th semester students, and you can write it aramse and you can focus. Okay, so just to focus on the time management and paper presentation is very, very important. Okay,
so hope you all will be getting a benefits of our session. So all the best for your tomorrow's exam. So we are winding up our session now. Thank you all. Thank you everyone.